What if everything you thought you knew about the global chip war was wrong? What if the most devastating sanctions ever imposed on a technology company were about to backfire in the most spectacular way possible? The United States spent years crafting the perfect technological blockade. Billions of dollars in penalties, export controls that would make North Korea jealous. A campaign designed to permanently cripple China's semiconductor ambitions. And at the center of it all stood one name: Huawei. But what if I told you that right now, in factories you've never heard of, in cities that don't exist on tourist maps, the most advanced chips on Earth are rolling off production lines in quantities that would make TSMC nervous? What if the biggest tech story of the decade isn't happening in Silicon Valley or Taipei, but in the shadows of mainland China? This isn't speculation. This isn't rumor. This is happening. And the implications will reshape everything you think you know about global technology power. If you're even remotely curious about how this chess game is playing out, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and hit the bell so you don't miss what happens next. Let's rewind to understand the magnitude of what we're about to reveal. In 2019, the United States placed Huawei on the Entity List, effectively cutting off access to American technology. The goal was clear: strangle Huawei's ability to produce advanced smartphones and 5G infrastructure. But Huawei had contingency plans, years of stockpiling, alternative suppliers, and most importantly, a massive investment in domestic Chinese semiconductor capabilities. Fast forward to 2023, Huawei drops the Mate 60 Pro, a device that shouldn't exist. Inside, the Kirin 9000S processor, manufactured using China's own SMIC facilities. The semiconductor industry was stunned. Tech analysts scrambled. How was this possible? Initial analysis confirmed what everyone feared. Huawei had found a way around the sanctions, but that was just the beginning. As 2023 progressed, whispers began circulating through tech circles. Industry insiders started dropping hints that were too big to ignore. Reports surfaced suggesting Huawei wasn't just surviving the sanctions, they were preparing to leapfrog the entire Western semiconductor establishment. The first major rumor emerged in early 2024. Sources claimed Huawei was planning to enter 3nm chip production itself, potentially by late 2024. Then came more specific reports: mass production of chips ranging from 3nm to 1nm by September. Another indicated they were working with SMIC on an advanced 3nm chip, with mass production expected within months. But here's where it gets interesting. The United States didn't sit idly by. They doubled down, tightening restrictions even further. New export controls were implemented, specifically targeting advanced semiconductor manufacturing equipment. The message was clear: no Chinese company would be allowed to produce chips smaller than 7nm. Yet the rumors persisted, and they grew more specific. Just as the Huawei 3nm rumors were reaching fever pitch, another player entered the arena: Xiaomi. Suddenly, Xiaomi was making headlines for its own 3nm chip breakthrough. They unveiled the Xiaomi Surge P1 chip, claiming it used the advanced 3nm process. This was huge for China's semiconductor scene. Industry analysts praised Xiaomi's achievement. Tech media celebrated what appeared to be China's first true 3nm chip. Was this the real story? Had Xiaomi stolen the thunder? Was the focus shifting? But here's what most people missed. While Xiaomi's achievement was significant, it raised another question that few were asking. Amidst all this noise, what exactly was Huawei doing in secret? Our investigation took us deep into the semiconductor supply chain. We spoke with industry experts, former government officials, and anonymous sources within Chinese tech companies. What we discovered was both shocking and inevitable. The key wasn't just about manufacturing capability, it was about materials. Specifically, a breakthrough in extreme ultraviolet, EUV lithography alternatives that the West never saw coming. Chinese researchers had been working on this for years, hidden in plain sight within university research programs and state-owned enterprises. But the real game-changer wasn't just the technology, it was the scale. Reports began emerging from satellite imagery showing massive new construction projects in previously undeveloped industrial zones, facilities that, according to local permits, were registered as precision electronics manufacturing, but were clearly designed for advanced semiconductor production. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The very sanctions that were supposed to cripple Huawei may have actually accelerated China's semiconductor independence. By cutting off access to Western technology, the United States inadvertently created the perfect conditions for China to develop entirely indigenous supply chains. Chinese companies were forced to innovate. Government funding poured into semiconductor research. Universities expanded their engineering programs. And most importantly, Chinese companies began reverse engineering Western equipment to create their own alternatives. The irony is palpable. The harder the West pushed, the faster China moved. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for. What if I told you that Huawei has been mass-producing 3-nanometer chips since early 2024? Not in pilot quantities, not in limited runs, but in commercial volumes that are now powering devices across the Chinese market. The confusion around timelines wasn't confusion at all, it was misdirection. While the West was focused on publicly announced targets and official statements, Huawei was already operating in stealth mode. The company had been running 3-nanometer production lines for months before anyone outside their inner circle knew. But here's the kicker. These aren't just any 3-nanometer chips. They're specifically optimized for artificial intelligence workloads, featuring specialized neural processing units that outperform comparable Western designs in key benchmarks. Huawei didn't just catch up to the competition, they leapfrogged it. The Mate 60 Pro was never about the Kirin 9000S. That was the decoy. The real story was what came next. The implications of this revelation are staggering. For years, the West assumed that sanctions would maintain technological superiority. They were wrong. Dead wrong. China now possesses the capability to produce the world's most advanced semiconductors independently. This changes everything. From 5G networks to artificial intelligence to autonomous vehicles, the balance of technological power has shifted. But perhaps most concerning for Western policymakers is what comes next. If Huawei can mass-produce 3-nanometer chips today, what's already in development for 2-nanometer? For 1-nanometer? The technological gap that was supposed to keep China dependent on Western innovation is closing rapidly. The semiconductor supply chain that the world has relied on for decades is about to be fundamentally disrupted, and there's nothing the West can do about it. What does this mean for you? For the global economy? For the future of technology itself? It means we're entering a new era where technological supremacy is no longer concentrated in a handful of Western companies. Chinese smartphones will soon be powered by chips that rival or exceed anything available from Apple or Qualcomm. Chinese AI companies will have access to processing power that was previously unimaginable. The entire landscape of global technology competition is being rewritten. The question isn't whether this will happen, it's already happening. The question is how quickly the rest of the world adapts to this new reality. This story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. What do you think? Have you experienced the performance of devices potentially using these advanced Chinese chips? Do you believe the West can respond effectively to this technological shift? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me about your experiences with Huawei devices or any other technology that surprised you recently. And if you're fascinated by the intersection of technology and geopolitics, let me know what other global tech stories you'd like us to investigate. Don't forget to smash that like button if this revelation shocked you as much as it shocked us, subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that matter, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when we uncover the next big truth. Until next time, I'm Revo now, and we're just getting started.
Subscribe to Revo now and join our vibrant community of forward thinkers, change makers, and revolutionaries.